Dream Social Security policies. This is a tax one. It has a benefit companion, and I'll do that in the next video. But first, the tax. I think Social Security should levy a tax on issuers of 1099 NEC's non-employee compensation, which is how most independent contractors are paid. As it currently stands, employers in the U.S. classify the people who work for them as either employees or independent contractors. The liability and taxes they owe for that worker are drastically different based on that classification. If they're employees, they have a certain level of liability. They also have to pay their Social Security taxes, other payroll taxes. They might be subject to certain benefits that the employer has. Whereas if they're an independent contractor, you basically owe them nothing and are responsible for nothing outside of the pay that you give them. For about a decade now in the US, there has been something like a classification fight trying to come up with a clear legal definition and application for what is an independent contractor, because many workers feel like they are employed by a company, but they're just not paid like an employee or treated like an employee. That's an important question to answer for our labor market. This tax would basically, kind of avoid all of the classification question and just get at the differential cost between contractors and employees. If independent contractors are so much cheaper because you don't have to pay any taxes on them, well, no, you just have to pay a tax on them. I envision this as working as like a per cap issuance tax, so that with a sliding scale, so that the more independent contractors you use, the higher your tax liability is for them. So something like the first 10 contractors, the first 1099s that you issue in a year, you pay one rate, say like $50 per cap. For the next 90, it's $100 per cap. And then for the next, 900 after that, it's $500 per cap, so that the tax would fall largely on employers who rely on very large contracting workforces as opposed to employees, to recognize that if you largely have employees as a firm, you are doing your part for Social Security. You're paying taxes on all of them. You don't really need to pay a penalty for like the random contractor that you use. On the other hand, if you're a business whose entire business model is run off of having independent contractors that you can pay less, you are not contributing to Social Security as much as your competitors and your peers, and so this tax falls largely on you. I see this as really having a lot of parallels with Amazon. When Amazon first started as an online marketplace, you didn't pay sales tax on any of the things that you bought there. And it was really unfair and hard for brick and mortar businesses that they were competing with someone who was selling the same goods but without having to have customers pay a tax on them. And states, slowly but surely, caught on to Amazon's business model of tax avoidance and levied a sales tax, for the sale of goods on online merchants and not just brick and mortar merchants. This is basically doing the same, but for independent contractors. Of like if your business model is built on having no liability for the people who make your business and not having to pay taxes on them, I think that this, would help for Social Security as a source of revenue. I think it would change the incentives between worker and contractor and create a fairness across all firms in the United States, that everybody contributes to Social Security, not just people who have like a classic business model, so that there's a parity there.